Now, President Biden just confirmed that there are no new deadlines for the massive spending bill to pass. And this means that Congress will likely pass the bill before October 31st. Folks, here's the latest news about the fourth stimulus check that I want you to know.
Now, Madam President, on Build Back Better. We had a productive weekend as we continue to close in on a final agreement for President Biden's Build Back Better plan. Yesterday morning, I traveled to Delaware to meet with the President and Senator Manchin about our agenda. It was a very good meeting, and I thank the President for his leadership. And I also thank my colleagues in both chambers for their shared commitment to getting this consequential and desperately needed legislation across the finish line. No one ever said passing transformational legislation like this would be easy, but we are on track to get this done because it's so important, and it is what the American people need and what they want. The progress of last week illustrated if we stick together, work towards finding that legislative sweet spot, then we can get big things done for the American people.
These bills are going to change the lives of millions of people in the areas and hundreds of millions of people across the country for better and for years to come. So everyone here today, especially Governor Murphy and other dedicated officials here today, thank you for showing us what's possible. Because when we make these investments, there's going to be no stopping America. We will own the future. This initiative is about betting on America, about believing in America, about believing in the American people. If you look at the history of the journey of this nation, what becomes clear is this: given half a chance, the American people have never, ever, ever let their country down. So let's get this done. Let's move. Folks, we have the most talented workforce in the world. What are we doing? What in God's name are we doing? And by the way, you hear these numbers, 3.5 trillion or 1.75 trillion. We pay for it all. It doesn't increase the deficit one single cent. So let's get to work. Let's put people to work. And let's once again reestablish America as the most advanced country in the world. God bless our America, and God bless our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
According to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, Joe Biden does not have any new deadlines, as the administration continues to negotiate with Democratic lawmakers on the framework of a massive spending bill aimed at social programs and tackling climate change. There is now a new bill proposed by Democratic Representative John Larson that would bring sweeping changes to Social Security benefits. So if you folks want to know the latest news about Social Security benefits, then be sure to stay until the end of this video. Now, the bill called the Social Security 2100 is slated to be introduced this week. If it passes, it will provide an increase for all beneficiaries that is equivalent to about 2% of the average benefit. It would also tweak the annual COLA by adopting a Consumer Price Index elderly formula, which is designed to take into account healthcare expenses, which seniors spend a greater portion of their income on than other age groups. Representative Larson wrote in a statement, the representative of the Social Security Department said that improved inflation and protection will especially help older retirees and widows who are more likely to rely on Social Security benefits as they age. A higher cost of living adjustment is especially important now, with inflation running so high. The COLA for 2021 was only 1.3%, which means next year's adjustment will rise by more than 4%. Some senior groups wanted an even higher COLA for 2022, of 6% to 6.1%, arguing that it would need to be fully covering the needs of seniors. Representative Larson's bill would also protect low-income workers by setting a new minimum benefit of 25% above the poverty line, which would be tied to wage levels to ensure that the minimum benefit does not fall behind. The bill will also provide caregiver credits to ensure that caregivers are not penalized in retirement for taking time out of the workforce to care for children or their dependents, in addition to extending benefits for students through age 22. So, after another failed vote to advance the voting rights legislation, Democratic lawmakers are debating the merits and the changes in the filibuster rule that many in the party see as essential. Nancy Pelosi said in an interview, the most important vote right now in the Congress is to vote to respect the sanctity of the vote. In the CNN town hall, Joe Biden said, I also think we're going to have to move to the point where we fundamentally alter the filibuster. My Republican friends say they were going to default on the national debt because they're going to filibuster that. And we need 10 Republicans to support us. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. So the shift in attitude toward the rule came after Senate Republicans filibustered the Freedom to Vote Act, a pared-back voting rights package pushed by Joe Manchin, who aggressively courted Republican votes for the bill. The failed vote was the third voting rights package filibustered by Republicans this year. Republicans have criticized the package for many reasons. The filibuster is a procedural rule in the Senate that requires 60 votes to bring a bill to a vote. The rule is a historical quirk that has been increasingly used by the party out of power to obstruct legislation that they oppose, intensifying gridlock in Washington. Chuck Schumer said before the failed vote that the Freedom to Vote Act would provide long overdue remedies for all concerns. While a majority of senators in the Democratic caucus have expressed an interest in amending the filibuster to overcome partisan gridlock on Capitol Hill, lawmakers differ in what changes they'd like to see for the rule. And changing the filibuster will require all 50 Senate Democrats agreeing to amend the rule, though nearly the entire caucus has expressed openness to changing, if not abolishing the rule outright.
You know, just this year, global warming has caused over $1 trillion, $100 billion, $100 billion in damage. I visited New Jersey, as the governor mentioned, after the Hurricane Ida came through. The governor and several of you were with me. In Manville, we met people who had been put out of their homes by flooding. It was devastating. Water marks over people's heads. They'd show me where the water had gotten to. I told them that help was on the way. Since then, FEMA processed assistance applications for nearly 30,000 New Jerseyans and approved $150 million in repairs, replacement, and rental assistance and other needs. Between 2010 and 2020, this state has had 24 extreme weather events. 24. Nationally, extreme weather, as I said, cost the taxpayers over $100 billion a year. Our plan is going to build our roads higher, our levees stronger, our power grids more durable, all to withstand the ever-increasing ferocity and intensity of extreme weather. And with my Build Back Better plans, we're going to address the root cause of ever-increasing extreme weather and destruction, the climate crisis. We have a climate crisis. I've flown all over this nation this year in helicopters, going from Lake Mead. You know, more land, Gov, has been burned to the ground in the West, to the ground, forest homes, than the entire state of New Jersey. From all the way down to Cape May, all the way up to the Hudson. That's how much is burned to the ground.